What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Exo-6. We got a new pre-order window opening, and it's the Jean-Luc Picard from the television show Picard. And while I know the first two seasons were lukewarm, I really liked the third season, so this is now a consideration for me. But we're also going to talk about Wave 1, the 7-inch line from Star Trek Lower Decks. So guys, stick around if you guys like the video, hit the like button for me, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas Showtime. Here we go.
Welcome back. So guys, let's start talking about Exo-6's Picard figure first. Now, of course, this is not the first time we've seen Jean-Luc Picard in figure format from Exo-6. We did previously get the first contact version, which I did like. I thought the sculpt on that figure was pretty solid, especially for one of the first releases we ever got from them. And I would say that this particular figure absolutely is capturing the likeness of Jean-Luc Picard, or that iconic actor, Patrick Stewart. Now, Picard's getting pretty old, let's be honest. Even in the show, he's in his 80s, I think, now, and it shows. He's a much slower moving Picard than we'd ever seen before. I found season 1 to be okay. I didn't mind it. I liked some of the Borg stuff. I liked seeing Hugh again. I didn't love season 2. I actually had a really hard time getting through season 2. And I'm not kidding. Picard season 3 felt to me like Star Trek The Next Generation season 8. It was amazing in my opinion. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I laughed. I cried. It was excellent. So it made me kind of want a figure from the show. And I think some of the, figure photography we've seen so far of some of the prototypes looks pretty good. The Picard here is looking pretty great. I think the Vatic that they showed looked pretty solid, and Worf also looked pretty solid, but we haven't seen those as official pre-orders yet, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. On this Picard, I'm liking the tailoring. I think it looks exactly like the episodes from the newest season. It's definitely his outfit. I think that they captured the comm badge well. I like the material choices that they used, and I like the colors that they chose. That's not all Exo-6. Obviously, some of that's design from the actual show itself. Now, I think one of the funny things that made me kind of second guess what I was about to talk about here earlier was the fact that they're using a photo of Locutus as the main pre-order photo on the website. I understand that Locutus is absolutely a portion of Picard's personality now. It's underlying for Picard. It has been for, 20 years? Ever since some of the greatest episodes of TV, in my opinion, at least Star Trek TV, The Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and Part 2. Last episode of Season 3, first episode of Season 4, Star Trek Next Generation. And the Borg has haunted Jean-Luc. But to use the picture of Locutus as the solicitation photo for the pre-order for the Exo-6 figure Picard is an odd choice. I understand there are story beats in Picard Season 3 that have to do with the Borg naturally, so I get what they're doing. It just seems like a strange choice. Anyways, let's move on. The figure comes in at the cost currently of $190 plus a $25 flat rate on Exo-6's website. The pre-order end date here is September the 30th, 2023. The estimated delivery is Q4 of 2023. So hoping to get it out this year, it sounds like. This figure does come with the, of course, fully articulated body that they always advertise, the realistic portrait of Jean-Luc Picard, or Patrick Stewart, of course, the 24th century outfit with research assisted by costume designer Michael Crow. This clothing set matches the on-screen costume as seen in Star Trek Picard Season 3, including the jacket, pants, and trousers, all matched to the original costume. The boots, which I don't call an accessory but fair, are plastic boots sculpted to match the cut and style of the original footwear. Does not look to be a split cut joint, so again, limited posability there. The display base is the hexagonal display base that we already see with most figures, and I do like the uniformity in the line there, which is awesome. The equipment comes with a Federation hand phaser. It's interesting that they didn't specify the phaser this time. Most of the time in the description on the Exo-6 website, it does say what type phaser it is, but it does say Federation hand phaser. And the bottle of Chateau Picard, of course, highlighted, not for consumption. It is a 6-scale bottle of wine from Chateau Picard from the seasons. Will I consider picking this up? I love the character of Jean-Luc Picard, but as much as I even liked Picard Season 3, it was still my least favorite representation of the character. I always liked the strong Jean-Luc Picard that we saw in The Next Generation. The guy who could go up and debate anybody, including an omnipotent being like Q. This Picard felt shaky and uncertain, and he was. And again, I get it, that's an evolution of age, it's an evolution of the character, but I didn't love it. I felt like they moved too far away from who he was to what he became. Whereas I found that the rest of the cast felt, again, like a very pure representation of what those characters would have become over their lifespan, for the most part. The Geordi portions, I thought, were a little forced. I don't think Geordi would have been as difficult as he ended up being. But, guys, that's my take with regards to this figure. Am I going to pick it up? Right now, I'm on the maybe train. I can't decide. I think if this were to go a little lower in cost, yes. I don't think that I'll pre-order it. And if I were to miss it, honestly, there's a lot of other Star Trek characters that I really want, including a younger version of the Next Generation Picard. Let's be honest, we need the red and black outfit.
Make it so.
But let's move on to the Lower Decks 7-inch statues wave from Exo-6. Now this Lower Decks show is, in my opinion, amazing. I've loved it. I'm only about a season deep so far. I've had a couple friends who are big Star Trek guys like me who have said, Ben, you gotta watch it. The Easter eggs are tremendous. They're all over the place. And there are some very, very deep cuts in the show. There's lots of great humor. And I've always wondered what happens without the main cast around the bridge and around the ship. There's a lot of people that run a ship, not just the guys we always get a chance to know, or the gals that we get a chance to know. So, I really enjoyed the show so far, and I plan to continue watching it for as long as it runs. Do I want a collectible from the show? It's not something that I would have said yes to initially, but I do really like what we're seeing here so far. Now, of course, keeping in mind that I'm looking at these through a bit of a different lens as well. I normally look at 1/6 scale figures. While I do have a 7-inch lineup of figures from Batman the Animated Series and my NECA Ninja Turtles, that's about it for my 7-inch collection. So would I need these, even though I love the show and even though I'm a huge Trek fan? Maybe. It's a maybe for me, because the price point I think is great. You do get all 3 figures here. So I love the look of Badgie. I think that he's really cool. I like his angry face and his happy face. I like the posability with his arms. I think that's kind of fun. The stand kind of looks like it's going up his butt, but you know, that's the way she goes, I guess, when it comes to this figure. I do really like the Brad as well, and I really like Beckett. I think they're a fantastic pairing for Wave 1. I don't know if I would need that many more characters from the show. At least yet. Maybe I'll feel differently when I get through more episodes. It's a possibility. So I pose the question back to you guys. Are you excited about Wave 1 here of these figures? Who else would you want to see from Lower Decks? Now, I will share one concern that I have. Exo-6 already seems to me to spread themselves a little bit thin. They promise a lot of figures. Some of them are very good quality. Some of them have been lackluster in my opinion. They're not all great, unfortunately, especially the Voyager line. I know you guys know my thoughts on that. This is interesting to me that these photos have, down below in the bottom left corner, distributed by Mondo Toys. Mondo obviously known to have their 6-scale line as well of figures from things like the He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and X-Men, Batman even. It's interesting that Exo-6 has this relationship with Mondo now for these figures. Will it spread Exo-6 too thin though? I guess it remains to be seen. Depends on how much support they get through Mondo, depends who's developing these characters. Clearly, 7-inch is a very different scale than 6 scale in terms of their construction, their paintwork, all of the things. So maybe they won't stretch themselves too thin, but I'm still waiting for a lot more Exo-6 1/6 scale figures, and with that being the way that they got into the market for me, that's really what I'm most excited to see from them. I love Star Trek, so anything that comes out Star Trek related, I will support, and I do think that these guys are cool. They come in at $160 plus $25 flat rate shipping. The pre-order end date for these guys is October 7th, 2023, and their estimated delivery is the first quarter of 2024. I'll likely skip the animated ones, but I'm considering the Picard. But I want to hear from you guys down below as well. Guys, thanks for watching. This is another episode regarding 6 scale news, especially with regards to Exo-6. If you guys like these pre-order video breakdowns, let me know. I'll keep doing them for you. And guys, if you guys like the video, hit the like button for me, of course. Please smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. And I'll catch you guys on the next preview video. Thanks for watching, everybody.